I think my favorite moment with this week's episode, just because, is that moment with a couple of those side characters in the photography club getting so happy that they actually got chocolates. It was such a one-off moment, but I thought it just kind of eased the episode into a more cheerful direction, because it was pretty serious for the first half there, and it was rather serious with the last bit as well. But it was nice just to have that quick break. It was just this nice comedic moment that actually had a decent amount of purpose behind it, and I actually quite enjoyed that. But this week's episode, I would actually say, is my favorite episode. I really enjoyed the pacing, the tone, and just everything that this episode presented. I felt like all of the characters, all these main characters, the way they were acting in this episode feels like how they should act. It doesn't feel like we're shifting something to pander to what people would want to see, that they would want their waifu to end up here or anything like that. It definitely feels like, with what we know about these characters, our main characters, Natsume, all these characters, the way that they're acting, especially with how last week went, and I didn't talk about last week's episode, I didn't have a whole lot to say on top, I was busy, but based on how last week and this week's functions, feels like all of these characters are acting like the way they should, with Haruto getting more or less turned down, but also still having the door left open because she sees Haruto is someone she definitely would want to spend her life with, at least for a part of it, but she needs to focus on her studies first. But if he wants to wait around, she will take him if he wants. And some people might call that selfish, but it depends on the person if they'd want to do it. And it's not like she's saying you have to, but Haruto's the type of guy, of course he would wait around. He's not just looking for a quick fling. He actually loves her. So I like how all these characters are acting. It doesn't feel like we're pandering, trying to beat around the bush, just trying to say, oh, we have to make sure this character ends up with this character, or blah, blah, blah. No, characters are going to get rejected, some characters are going to have possibly the door left open in the future, and other characters are going to end up together, but the way the entrance exams to all the characters and how everything seemingly is coming to a close, we still have 2 episodes left, but still, it's starting to feel like the endgame has more or less been set. I love how the characters acted. It feels like, even though we are at the end of a high school setting here, it feels like these characters, some of which are acting very adult, very mature, but also understanding that there is more to life than just school and work, and I like how everything was placed here. I thought the voice acting was actually really, really well done for the most part there. There was quite a few lines that kind of stood out as being like, wow, they actually really gave it their all, far past what I typically would see in this series, and just based on how many issues the director and everything was having, like, in the mid-season, or like the midway point of this season, it's impressive to see that at episode 10, we're not seeing a lot of downgrading quality. It actually feels like this shaped around. I've been loving this series since the very first episode, but I'm so happy that the production didn't go completely off the rails here, and they're able to kind of straighten everything out after that recap episode, or whatever they had, the special there. And this was a great episode. I mean, seriously, just because it's such a breath of fresh air in the kind of like drama, high school romance genre, nothing about it at first glance seems that remarkable, but the way they wrote these characters is very believable, but also grounded, but also has that anime charm to it. And I just absolutely love this episode, but that's all I have to say. What did you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.